Yep.
Good afternoon. The 57th meeting of the 73rd term of your Baltimore City Council is now called to order. As a reminder for members of the public as well as press, please ensure that your cell phones are turned off. If not, at least they are on silent. As you know, the requirement to wear face masks has been lifted by our mayor. You still have the ability to wear one if you would like. There are some in the back if you do not have one. Our invocation this evening will be delivered by Reverend Candace L. Green, Associate Minister at Gethsemane AME Church. It is our pleasure to welcome you back again.
Good evening, everyone. Let's bow our heads. To the one we call Father, Mother, and the Creator, thank you for this moment as we are called together to do the work for the citizens of Baltimore. Help those who the people have elected use wisdom to make decisions of positive impact for this great city. Be with us as the comforter for those in this room and who are watching on television and online, who are grieving the loss of mothers, fathers, children, family members, and friends, mourning as we continue to do the work we are called to do. Allow your peace to reign always and in all ways. In your name do we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, Reverend Green. At this time, please join me by stating the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this time, we do have a showcase. Is the law pages, are they going to come present? For our showcase this evening, it's my pleasure to welcome to some, but for many of us who've been seeing these amazing young Baltimore scholars help us and support us here, our Law Page program, Kyla Thomas and Taiwan Hughes. Each year, the City Council hosts high school students from this program, and they end their time with us to provide a brief presentation on something they've learned or done to date. Oh. I'm sorry, Jewel Lumpkins. Yeah, get it right. Look at her father. Who's going to go first?
I will.
Okay.
So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Taiwan Hughes. I am the senior class president of the class of 2022 through 2023, and I will be graduating from the school known as Buford Drew Jemison STEM Academy, located at Harlem Park Avenue, like 1500 Harlem Park Avenue. The research topic that I chose was about vacated buildings and how much they have affected Baltimore City. The reason why I chose this and why this was so important to me is because I, along many other people that I know, have lived among vacancy buildings and have in some way have been affected greatly by it. And currently, as it stands, I live in a neighborhood that is severely affected by it. And with that in mind, living there for so many years, I wanted to make some sort of change towards it. I believe that this should be acknowledged, and it has, as I've researched, but more importantly should be tackled on, because there are so many problems we can solve as a result of vacated buildings, like homelessness, lack of investment in communities and low-income communities as a whole. And I believe, like many others that I have learned about as far as the council members and the council president, that we want to build the best Baltimore City that we can possibly see and want to have. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Jewel Lumpkins. I am a graduating senior at the Baltimore Polytechnic Institute, and in the fall I will be attending Delaware State University on a full academic scholarship. My top My topic was on gentrification and how it is impacting Baltimore. The way that I got interested in it is I'm enrolled in an advanced placement research course this year, and in that my topic was how did gentrification begin and what are the lasting impacts of it? And I was able to trace it back to redlining and segregation of the 1970s and how it is still showing today but not addressed as what it really is. So I wanted to see how is gentrification in Baltimore, because for school my focus was in Chicago, but I wanted to relate it to where I am and the people that I am around, because I know that it impacts so many. So I was able to find that we did have an Inclusionary Housing Act, but it did expire last year. But Councilwoman Ramos, she has introduced a bill since then that was part of my my solution, because I agree with it very much that the people that go into these poor neighborhoods buying up the places for a little bit of money but then selling it for a lot, knowing that those citizens can't afford it in the place that they were already in, it's selfish, and I do believe that they should always set aside a part that can be used for affordable housing for those in the community, because we always have to give back to who was already there. So.
Well, Ms. Lumpkin, as well as Mr. Hughes, thank you so much for your service to the citizens of Baltimore. Ms. Lumpkin has already stated she's going to Delaware State, right up the street, on a full academic scholarship, and Mr. Hughes was accepted into Morgan State University as well. And as a fellow, he's a first-generation college student in his family attending Morgan State University, so we're proud of you. No, go ahead. Ms. Lumpkin?
Also, one thing that I wanted to mention is in the month of April, I had got accepted and nominated, as you can see, for the Baltimore City Superstar Scholar of 2022 and 2023.
At this time, Madam Clerk, if you could please call the roll. No, we're going to do it after we call it.
President Mosby, McCray, Dorsey, Conway, Schleifer, Middleton, Torrance, Burnett, Bullock, Porter, Costello, Stokes, Glover, Ramos. Mr. President, we have a quorum.
Thank you so much. We'll now proceed to the adoption of the journals. Madam Clerk?
Mr. President, the journal for the May 1st, 2023 proceedings are on the council member's desk.
Without objection, the journal will be adopted. Hearing and seeing none, the journal is now adopted. A bill signed by the mayor can be found at the beginning of page 2 of the agenda. Now we'll turn to executive nominations. Madam Clerk, if you could please read the first nomination.
EA 23-0195, Lady Bryan, Member, Public Arts Commission, District 2.
This nomination has been assigned to Rules and Oversight Committee. Madam Clerk.
EA 23-0196, Barbara Kornman, Member, Adult Public Guardianship Review Board, District 14.
This nomination has been assigned to Rules and Oversight. Madam Clerk.
EA 23-0197, Robin Russell Allen, Member, Planning Commission, District 14.
This nomination has been assigned to Rules and Oversight Committee. Now we'll turn to bills to be introduced by the clerk. If you could please read the first bill.
City Council Bill 23-0381, Ordinance of Estimates for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2024, for the purpose of providing the appropriations estimated to be needed by each agency of the City of Baltimore for operating programs and capital projects during the fiscal 2024 year. Sponsor, City Council President, Administration.
This bill has been assigned to Ways and Means Committee. Madam Clerk, next bill.
City Council Bill 23-0382, Annual Property Tax, Fiscal Year 2024, for the purpose of providing a tax for the use of the Mayor and City Council of Baltimore for the period July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2024, and setting the semi-annual payment service charge for that period. Sponsor, City Council President, Administration.
This bill has been assigned to Ways and Means Committee. Madam Clerk.
City Council Bill 23-0383, Operating Budget for the Baltimore City Board of School Commissioners for fiscal year ending June 30th, 2024, for the purpose of approving the budget estimated to be needed for the Baltimore City Board of School of Commissioners for operating programs during fiscal 2024, providing for certification of the approved budget to the State Superintendent of Schools, and providing for a special effective date. Sponsor, City Council President, Administration.
This bill has been assigned to Ways and Means as well. The three bills that we just heard, the ordinance of estimates, the property tax bill, and the operating budget for Baltimore City Public School, obviously is an annual process, part of our budget. This is the fiscal year 24 budget that the council will be doing a robust and thorough evaluation and working with the administration to get to this year's budget passed. So those three bills are bills that came over from the School Board of Commissioners as well as from the Board of Estimates, and now it's time for the council to review the bills and work with the administration and get a balanced budget passed. Madam Clerk, if you could please read the next bill.
City Council Bill 23-0384, sale of property 14 through 18 Light Street, 7 East Redwood Street, for the purpose of authorizing the mayor and City Council of Baltimore to sell at either public or private sale all its interest in certain property that is located at 14 through 18 Light Street, Block 0660, lots 0001 and 003A, also known as 7 East Redwood Street, and is no longer needed for public use, and providing for a special effective date. Sponsor, Costello.
This bill has been assigned to the Ways and Means Committee. Madam Clerk.
City Council Bill 23-0385, study and report Baltimore City Climate Resilience Authority, for the purpose of requiring the Director of Finance, the City Solicitor, the Director of Transportation, the Director of Public Works, the Director of Planning, and the Director of Sustainability to submit a report detailing how Baltimore City may establish a local climate resilience authority originally authorized by Chapter 236 of the Acts of 2020, now codified as Title 22, Resilience Infrastructure of the State Local Government Articles. Sponsors, Conway.
The body would like to recognize the sponsor of the bill, Chairman Conway. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. President. This one is, of course, in line with a lot of the work that I've been doing to make sure that we as a city are thinking about the effects of climate change and our part in it, and, of course, the future of our city. As we've all heard the Chinese proverb, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The next best time to do so is now. I would say for us, the best time to plant, or rather to start a resilience authority is now. And so when we think about the future of the city, when we think about the assets of the city, when we think about the problems that we're already seeing, whether that be sea level rise and the threats that are going to eventually address our waterfront, when we think about underserved neighborhoods that deal with flooding during significant rainstorms in the 14th District and the 8th District. We've seen buses literally float down streets. We know that we have to make significant investments in infrastructure across the city. So this is an opportunity for us to think about a resilience authority and what that bonding authority and that sort of entity can mean towards preparing the city for the next 50 years or 100 years in light of climate change. So look forward to having an opportunity to talk about the bill and even more the study and report that will come thereafter. Thank you.
Thank you so much. This bill has been assigned to SGO. Madam Clerk, next bill.
City Council Bill 23-0386, Landmark List, Home of the Friendless, for the purpose of designating the Home of the Friendless, 1313 Druid Hill Avenue, as an historical landmark, exterior, and providing for a special effective date. Sponsor, Costello.
Body would like to yield its time to Chair of Ways and Means and sponsor the bill, Chairman Costello.
Thank you, Mr. President. This bill is to landmark a property in historic Marble Hill in Upton. 1313 Druid Hill Avenue, known as the Home of the Friendless, was originally built as a refuge for orphan boys in 1870. Over time, leading up to 1931, that building served as an orphanage, and in 1938, that was where the Druid Hill Health Center was located, which was Baltimore's first public health center for black people. The services were provided there until 1961. City's Department of Housing and Community Development owned the building until 1992, and it has been vacant ever since then. We've been working with community leaders in Upton and Marble Hill, as well as Commissioner Kennedy and the team at Department of Housing and Community Development to find an adaptive reuse for this building. Thank you, Mr. President and colleagues.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, for going over that history. Obviously, that is a priority, not only to the administration, but more importantly to the community. Thank you to your leadership on that. That bill has been assigned to ECD. Madam Clerk, if you could please read the next bill.
City Council Bill 23-0387, Minority and Women's Business Program Reauthorization, for the purpose of reauthorizing and continuing the Minority and Women's Business Program, providing for a special effective date, and generally relating to minority and women's business enterprises. Sponsor, City Council President, Administration.
This bill has been assigned to ECD. Madam Clerk, next bill.
City Council Bill 23-0388, Urban Renewal, Laurelville Business District, Amendment 1, for the purpose of amending the urban renewal plan for the Laurelville Business District to extend the life of the plan, waiving certain content and procedural requirements, making the provisions of this ordinance severable, providing for the application of this ordinance in conjunction with certain other ordinances, and providing for a special effective date. Sponsor, Dorsey.
This bill has been assigned to ECD as well. Madam Clerk, next bill.
City Council Bill 23-0389, Transit-Oriented Development, Reisterstown Plaza, for the purpose of supporting a state transit-oriented development designation for Reisterstown Road Plaza, the area surrounding and including the Reisterstown Plaza Metro Subway Link Station, and providing for a special effective date. Sponsor, City Council President, on behalf of the administration.
This bill is assigned to ECD. Madam Clerk.
City Council Bill 23-0390, Transit-Oriented Development, Penn Station, for the purpose of supporting a state transit-oriented development designation for Penn Station, the area surrounding and including Baltimore Penn Station, and providing for a special effective date. Sponsor, City Council President, on behalf of the administration.
This bill has been assigned to ECD. Resolutions to be introduced. Madam Clerk, if you could please call in the first resolution.
City Council Resolution 23-0172R, Informational Hearing, Baltimore City Broadband and Digital Equity, for the purpose of inviting the Office of Broadband and Digital Equity, Baltimore City Department of Finance, the Comptroller, Baltimore City Information Technology, the Law Department, the Department of Transportation, and other relevant parties to provide an update regarding the progress of closing the digital divide by 2030 in Baltimore City, discussing the city's powers or limitations regarding broadband expansion with regard to state law as well as city contracts and franchises already in place, discussing possible policy or legislative reforms and any other relevant information of interest to the Baltimore City Council in order to bring Baltimore City's broadband infrastructure and technology into the 21st century. Sponsor, President Mosby.
This resolution has been assigned to Health, Environment, and Technology. Madam Clerk, next bill.
City Council Resolution 23-0173R, Informational Hearing, Chronic Absenteeism, for the purpose of inviting representatives from the Baltimore City Public School System and other relevant stakeholders to brief the City Council on the current attendance status throughout BCPSS, with a focus on the causes and effects of chronic absenteeism on youth. Sponsor, President Mosby.
So just to talk about this real quick, we know and see some of the stats around some of our juveniles doing very unproductive things. We also know that that starts somewhere. And when we see high absenteeism, particularly from our young folks who are K through third grade, we understand and know that that puts them in a trajectory of being extremely vulnerable and potentially in the light of doing unproductive things in the future. So it's important that we identify those young folks, provide wraparound services for them as well as their families to ensure that we provide them with the best potential outcomes in life. With this, I hope that we'll be able to go through some historic data to determine where we are today versus where we've been at, say, for the past 5 years, and see if there's things that this council, the city can do to help support Baltimore City Public School System, again, to get to our most vulnerable youth, and that's our K through third graders who are not going to school on a regular basis. This resolution has been assigned to Education, Workforce, and Youth. Madam Clerk, next bill.
City Council Resolution 23-0174R, Informational Hearing, Middle School Sports Programs, for the purpose of inviting representatives from the Baltimore City Public School System and other relevant stakeholders to discuss the availability, accessibility, and diversity of sports programs offered at the middle school age for youth. President Mosby.
Just to speak on behalf of this bill, again, this is a bill where we know that middle school sports activities, as it relates to being offered by Rex and Parks, but most importantly by Baltimore City Public School System, is inept. We know attracting our young folks into productive environments, into school environments, sports serves as a critical role, not only as it relates to their development, but also relates to their camaraderie in the classroom and outside of the classroom. So with that, just want to evaluate where we are from a programmatic perspective in hopes that we understand how we can provide more opportunities and better outcomes for our young folks moving forward and properly prepare them when they go to our high school. So with that, this bill has been assigned to Education, Workforce, and Youth. Madam Clerk.
City Council Resolution 23-0175R, informational hearing, parity in women's sports, for the purpose of inviting representatives from the Baltimore City Public School System and other relevant stakeholders to brief the City Council on the accessibility and resources available to women's sports in relation to Title IX of the Educational Amendments of 1972, codified at 20 U.S.C. Section 1681 at SEEK Title IX, which prohibits discrimination on the basis of sex in education programs and activities in all public and private elementary and secondary schools, districts, colleges, and universities receiving any federal funds. Sponsor, President Mosby.
Thank you. This bill is pretty straightforward. Not only when we look at middle school, but also high school, when we do a comparison, I am completely alarmed at the type of opportunities and activities that the young women in our city have as it relates to participating in sports, particularly in middle school. Again, from group sports, you get access to leadership. It provides opportunities for growth in self-awareness and self-confidence, and ultimately teaches you how to be part of a team and provides you with real productive outlets. I think unfortunately, when we look at some of the opportunities as well as a lot of the unproductivity, we focus on our young men and we don't really provide the same level of focus and attention on our young women. 50 plus years after Title IX, I think it's really unacceptable and I think it's something that we need to aggressively look at so we can build the foundation and move forward and be proud of, again, the opportunities that we're providing through sports for our young women throughout the city of Baltimore. With that said, this resolution will be assigned to Education, Workforce, and Youth. Madam Clerk. At this time, you can find the consent calendar on Section A at the back of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the consent calendar? It's been moved and probably seconded. All those in favor, please say aye. All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. The consent calendar is approved. We'll now move to bills on second reader. Before we do, I'd like to turn it over to Chairman Costello.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move we read short titles for second and third reader for the duration of the meeting.
Without objection, we'll be in short titles for duration of meeting. Hearing and seeing none, we're in short titles for the duration of meeting. Madam Clerk, if you could please call on ECD.
City Council Bill 22-0325, zoning, conditional use conversion of a single-family dwelling unit to 2 dwelling units in the R7 zoning district, variances 466 Hornell Street.
The body would like to recognize Vice President of Council, Vice President Sharon Green Middleton.
Thank you, Mr. President. Bill number 22-0325. This bill was heard on May 2nd, 2023. There is a committee amendment on my colleague's desk. I move the amendment.
It's been moved and probably second. All those in favor, please say aye. All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. The amendment is approved. Madam VP.
The findings of fact are on my colleague's desk. I move the findings of fact.
It's been moved and probably second. All those in favor, please say aye. All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. Finding of facts are adopted. Madam VP.
And I move the bill favorably as amended.
It's been moved and probably second. All those in favor, please say aye. All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. This bill will be printed for third reading. Madam Clerk, please call the next bill.
City Council Bill 23-0359, rezoning 600 North Packer Street.
Madam VP.
Bill 23-0359. This bill was also heard on May 2nd, 2023. The findings of fact are on my colleague's desk. I move the findings of fact.
Is there a second? It's been moved and probably second. All those in favor, please say aye. All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. Finding of facts are adopted. Madam VP.
And I move the bill is favorable.
It's been moved and properly seconded. All those in favor, please say aye. All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. The bill will be printed for third reading. Now we're going to turn it over to SGO. Madam Clerk, please call the bill.
City Council Bill 22-0255, arson offender registration.
The body would like to recognize Chair of the Committee, Chairman Conway. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. President. Bill number 22-0255 was heard on September 28, 22. Excuse me. It was heard on September 28, 2022. We had a voting session on May 10, 2023, and the committee amendments are on my colleagues' desks. I move the amendments.
It's been moved and properly seconded. All those in favor, please say aye. All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. The amendments are adopted. Mr. Chair, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. President. And there is a floor amendment, a technical amendment, and I want to move the amendment.
It's a friendly amendment.
Yeah.
You want to read it in?
Sure. So this amendment changes the timing for registration and information collected to conform to changes made by the committee amendments.
Is there a motion?
Is that move?
You're going to call a motion?
Second.
Huh?
Second.
Oh, you got to say it into the microphone.
He can move. You can move.
You have to stand too. I'm sorry. The body would like to recognize the sponsor of the bill. You guys stand. Just stand up.
All right.
There you go.
I move the floor amendment, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. All those in favor, please say aye. All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. That amendment is adopted. Just real quick, he's the sponsor of the bill. There's a floor amendment, so we allowed him to provide the motion. Mr. Chair, the floor is yours.
And I move the bill favorably as amended.
It's been moved and properly seconded. All those in favor, please say aye. All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. The bill will be printed for third reading. Madam Clerk, we're going to move into rules and oversight.
City Council Bill 21-0160, building code, cool roofs.
The body would like to recognize Chair of the Committee, Chairman Schleifer.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Rules and Legislative Oversight Committee held a hearing on Council Bill 21-160, cool roofs, on May 4th, 2023. And the amendments are on my colleague's desk, and I want to move the amendments favorable.
It's been moved and properly seconded. All those in favor, please say aye. All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. Mr. Chair.
I move the bill favorable as amended.
It's been moved and properly seconded. All those in favor, please say aye. All those opposed, say nay.
Nay.
Okay, please note that we have a 13 in the affirmative, 1 nay, and 1 absent in Councilmember Cohen. This bill is approved and will be printed for third reading. At this time, Madam Clerk, please read in the next bill.
EA 23-0186, David Kramer, Member Administrative Charging Committee, District 4.
Mr. Chair.
The committee also heard these 3 nominations for the Administrative Charging Committee, and I want to move this nomination favorable.
It's been moved and properly seconded. All those in favor, please say aye. All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. This recommendation will be listed as confirmed and accepted. Madam Clerk, please read in the next nomination.
EA 23-0187, Tierra M. Hawks, Member Administrative Charging Committee, District 3.
Mr. Chair.
I move the nomination favorable.
It's been moved and properly seconded. All those in favor, please say aye. All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. This recommendation is now confirmed and is accepted. Madam Clerk, next bill.
EA 23-0188, Raymond C. Kelly, Member Administrative Charging Committee, District 7.
Mr. Chair.
I move the nomination favorable.
It's been moved and properly seconded. All those in favor, please say aye. All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. The recommendation for confirmation is accepted. We're going to now turn to Ways and Means. Madam Clerk, if you could please read the first bill.
City Council Bill 21-0178, Tax Credits, Historic Properties, Definition of Historic Property.
The body would like to recognize Chair of the Committee, Chairman Costello. The floor is yours.
Excuse me. Thank you, Mr. President. There are amendments on my colleague's desk. I move the amendments.
It's been moved and probably second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. The amendments are accepted. Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the bill favorably as amended.
It's been moved and probably second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. The bill will be printed for third reading. Madam Clerk, please read in the next bill.
City Council Bill 23-0368, real property tax credit for energy conservation devices.
The body would like to recognize Chair of the Committee, Chairman Costello.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the bill favorably.
It's been moved and probably second. All those in favor, please say aye. All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. The bill will be printed for third reading. Were we going to try to double read this today, right? Go ahead, the body would like to recognize Chairman Costello.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to suspend City Council Rule 12-1 for same-day advancement from second to third reader for Council Bill 23-0368.
Is there a second? It's been moved and probably second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. We have suspended council rules for same-day advancement, 12-1. At this time, Mr. Chair, the floor is yours. Oh, no, we're going to go to third reading. Got it. Appreciate that. Next up, Madam Clerk, could you please read the last bill for Ways and Means? Is there another bill? Nope. We're going into third reader at this point. There's not another bill on second reader. Madam Clerk, if you could please go into the one that we had where we were required to invoke. Actually, before we do so, we're going to turn to a special presentation. A special gentleman to the City of Baltimore has walked into the building. Mayor Jack Young, if you could please come up here. We would truly appreciate that. And at this time, I would like to invite another special guest, and that's our amazing Chief, Roman L. Clark, Sr. If you could come up. Yeah, we will. So, Chief Roman Clark, if you could come up. Mayor Young, if you could come up. And Madam Clerk, if you could please read in this bill, that's 23-0171R.
City Council Resolution 23-0171R, recognizing the service of Executive Assistant Chief Roman Clark Sr. for the purpose of recognizing Executive Assistant Chief Roman Clark Sr. for his 46 years of dedication and service to the Baltimore City Fire Department and the cities of Baltimore. Sponsor, President Mosby.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. At this time, we're going to allow council members to speak, and then we're going to allow Mayor Jack Young to speak before the honoree speaks. But we understand and know that public service is a tough task. Particularly if you are a Roman Clark running into burning buildings, saving babies, and helping some of your colleagues who might not even want you to work next to them 46 years ago. That's a real story. So when we talk about the strength of this man and his ability to work through some really challenging times through our country, to understand and know that public safety meant everything to him, but not only to him, more importantly, to his family, to his community, and to the city that he loves. He's dedicated 46 years of his life to the citizens of Baltimore. At times when our citizens might not had the most trust for government, had concerns with government, it was always Chief Roman Clark face on the news that we trusted, telling us from one emergency event to another what was going on and how it was going on. And if it came from his mouth, we completely believed it. This is a man of integrity, of great faith, and an inspiration to all. As a young man in public service, I truly, truly say I stand on his shoulders. And the Baltimore City Council wanted to recognize you tonight appropriately, so enjoy your flowers. With that, is there any members that would like to speak? We're just going to go, I'm going to go with Vice President first. The Dean of the Council, Vice President.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is a well-deserved honor. I know Chief Roman Clark and his wife personally, my husband and I, even before I became a council person, and just a wonderful partners. They have the love of the city. This is just truly a wonderful honor. I do want to mention, so when I became a council person in my first term, thinking of bill ideas and things to put in, I noticed that our city hall and also all the city-owned buildings did not have defibrillators. And put in a bill for that. Chief Clark called me up right away. What are you doing? I says, well, this is, a safety hazard. We need to have these defibrillators in our building. There needs to be classes. So he said, Councilwoman, it's going to happen. I just want you to be patient. And this is even how he talks when he, is a spokesperson. He is reasonable. He takes his time, and if you notice in these halls, they have the signs up, the defibrillators. It was also when Jack Young was with us as well. So these are the kind of things that his heart was just so into, and he showed it. Another thing, he is very career focused and always shared how being a firefighter or MES or in those roles, it's really a wonderful career. He pushed apprenticeships. He also is in a very good position for MECU and helped to push how city employees, just all of that full circle of the education piece when you become a city employee. So thank you for everything that you do, and I know you're going to still be busy when you go on and do other things and also travel and enjoy life. So appreciate everything that you have done for this city, and we'll never forget your service. Thank you.
We're going to go to Councilman Bullock.
Thank you, Mr. President, and Chief Clark. Always good to see you. It was good to see you at your retirement ceremony over in the War Memorial, but also good to see that your family was here to share this day with you. I know, and I think some other folks know, that you do have quite a few family members who are in the 9th District. And one of the things that we know in the 9th District, we've been challenged a lot with our vacant properties and our fires. And I know that you've been on the scene. I know there are times where you call, early morning hours, relaying that information. A lot of us understand the toll that it takes on you, on the rest of the firefighters in our city. So again, our hearts go out to everyone who serves, but really thanking you for those years of dedicated service. It really means a lot. I know that folks know you around this city as a community person. And so all of the accolades you're getting today are so well deserved. I look forward to seeing you around town. Hopefully you get some time to relax. Hopefully you do that. But God bless you, and thank you so much for your service.
Chairman Slifer.
Thank you. And so when I read this agenda, this is actually the first time that I see it said assistant chief. I always thought you were the chief of the department. So for as long as I can remember, everybody always said Chief Clark is the chief of the department. He ran the department for all intents and purposes. I don't think this man's ever taken a vacation. Is that right? I mean, every time there's an incident, he's there. Anytime there's an incident in my district, whether it be a house fire, an explosion, I know we spent the whole week out there for the explosion, the chief was always out there. I mean, he was always there in minutes. And so I want to thank you for that, but also want to thank you for just the countless times I've reached out to you on a whole variety of issues. When I got started on the council, I guess 7 years ago, it was brought to my attention that somebody like me didn't have an opportunity to be a member of the department. As an observant Jew, there was not those opportunities to be able to join the department based on certain scheduling things. And the chief and the leadership was able to work through those challenges to become more inclusive and allow for the diversity so that the department, could look like the city. And so I want to thank you. I want to thank you for that, and just the variety of times I called you. Sorry, I apologize for calling him in the middle of the night sometimes. But the chief always picks up the phone, and so when you have somebody who's always going to answer and get you an answer right away, no matter what time of day or night is. That's what happens when you do good work. Then people end up calling you more often. So I apologize for that. But the one silver lining in your retirement, and I've seen you play golf before, so I hope I don't. Yeah, you definitely need some practice, and so I'm glad you're finally going to get that much needed practice, so that work on your golf game. And I hope to see you out there on the course.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilmember Burnett.
Thank you, Mr. President. Chief, I just want to say thank you for your service. Like everyone else has already said, you've been extremely accessible. Walking the beat, I know we've done a number of smoke alarm installation projects in my district. I think you were with me on the one where they set me up and I couldn't actually get through the wall, so that they got folks a little bit of a laugh at my expense. But you're out here in the community. I mean, you've been doing the work. You've done the work for a very long time, and we know that it takes a toll on your family. It takes a toll on your personal life. But so obviously, just making the city a better place is what has driven you for the last 40 years. And we just want to say thank you for your service and for being a good ally for the full council, the mayor's office, the city of Baltimore. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Chairman Conway.
Mr. President, Chief Clark, it's really been a pleasure working with you, and really sorry to see you go. I know coming on as chair of the committee, we've talked a lot about literally everything having to do with fire. You've called me early in the morning when I'm in bed with my wife, and late at night when I'm in bed with my wife, and I can't tell you how much the city appreciates people that really dedicate themselves to the future and the president of the city, just like you have. And really wish you the best of luck in your golf stroke, and we really appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Councilmember Dorsey.
Thank you, Mr. President. Chief, Northeast Baltimore's got a lot of top brass from a lot of different city agencies. We've got the planning director in my district. We've got the longest standing employee of the Department of Transportation, Frank Murphy. We've got Director of Healthy Neighborhoods. We've got so many people that serve in such high up positions living in Northeast Baltimore that it's a wonder, I guess, why I don't get more calls from folks. But it's just that everybody knows their next door neighbor and is somebody who works high up in some agency or other. And so I appreciate all the calls you must have taken on my behalf from all your neighbors over the years. I can only think of probably one time when you ever had to call me as a constituent and ask me, can we get this thing worked out? And I appreciate the low volume of calls on both accounts. But it's a privilege for me to get to call you and so many other dedicated, longtime servants of the city of Baltimore, residents of the 3rd City Council District. And it was a privilege for me to be asked, I guess in my first year on the council or second year on the council, if I would present a resolution for your 35 years in service to the city of Baltimore. I was like, man, when is this guy going to retire at this point? And so just 40 years is such an incredible feat of service to the city of Baltimore, and I just want to thank you for it. And you know how to get hold of me. Thanks.
Chairman Costello.
Thank you, Mr. President. Chief Clark, just want to thank you for an incredible career in public service. I know when I got that first call at, 2:30 in the morning, every time since then I pick up the phone when Roman Clark calls. Thankfully, I won't be getting any more of those calls, but anytime there was an emergency, you had an innate ability to provide some sense of calm and reassurance that it was going to be all right. And I think that speaks a lot to your character. So thank you for your incredible career. Thank you to your family for sharing you with us, and wishing you all the best.
Chairman Stokes.
Chief, I want to thank you for your years, but you gave me an opportunity to invite some of our young people when we were harmed in the fire department and the EMS and the fire department. I appreciate it. Mrs. Clark, thank you. Victor, your brother. Thank you for lending your son, your uncle, your grandfather for 46 years here in Baltimore. And Chief Clark, I'll see you on the golf course with some cocoa crab cakes.
Councilman Glover.
You, Mr. President. When you've been a freshman to the council, to dedicate that many years to the city of Baltimore, like I truly, understand your passion. I feel what you feel, I see what you see, and I understand it the way you do. But to piggyback on what some of my colleagues were saying early on, like to get those phone calls at 2 and 3 in the morning, and it's like, man, the chief want this time of morning, man, and you answer the phone, and when you talk to him, and he educates you, not just tell you what's going on, but he educating you along the way. So that when you do pull up on the scene, he's telling you the information on the do's and the don't in case the media, confront you, all in your face. He's a teacher. He's an educator. He's a great man. And again, I just want to say thank you, because like my colleague said, Yitzi, that I always thought he was the chief because he ran like everything. And it's so sad to see the chief leave. But it's also great to see that he's leaving, in the mix of greatness. You've been a part of a legacy where folks like us wasn't able to be a part of that operation, but you broke many barriers. And I just want to say thank you, because I get the opportunity to talk to my kids and one day my grandkids about the wonderful greatness we had with Chief Clark. And I appreciate you so much, brother. Thank you so much.
Councilman Torrance.
Thank you, Mr. President. Chief Clark, I will not remove you from my exception list on Do Not Disturb at night. I will say one thing. From our first interaction, I was with my son. My son is always a prelude to understanding like the character of a person. And he naturally took to you. So I knew that even when the phone call, if it was personal, when you would check on us, just check on us, right? Not many people would just call to check on you and not call you about an emergency, because first thing I ask, what's the emergency? What's happening? You're just calling to check. And that speaks to who you are as a person, and we celebrate that today. Thank you.
Thank you. Chairwoman Ramos.
Thank you, Mr. President. Chief Clark, I'm new to the council, so I haven't known you for very long, but obviously my predecessor spoke very highly of you. And also, you've helped in our district a lot. In particular, one person that we were trying to find after a fire. And you helped really get through the system to try to make sure that we could find him. So I do appreciate that. And that speaks volumes for your attention to detail and obviously how much you care about the community. Thank you.
At this time, I'm going to call on Madam Vice President to suspend the rules. We have to vote on it.
Suspend the rules to make a vote.
You move to suspend the rules?
I move to suspend the rules.
Without objection, the rules will be suspended. Hearing and seeing none, the rules are suspended. Now, could you move us to the resolution to move forward, to be adopted?
And I move this resolution be adopted.
Madam Clerk, if you could please call the roll.
President Mosby.
Aye.
McCray. Dorsey. Conway. Schleifer. Middleton. Torrance. Burnett. Bullock. Porter. Costello. Stokes. Glover. Ramos.
The motion is approved. The resolution has been adopted. Now, before the man of the hour speaks, we have a special guest in Mayor Jack Young. He said, Nick, can you please make sure I make it there to see my buddy, my brother, get recognized by the council, and that's what we did, Mr. Mayor. At this time, the floor is yours.
Thank you. First of all, Mr. President, thank you for this opportunity, and I want to thank the council members for allowing me to be here today. I had to be here because Roman Clark, the whole 26 years that I've been in city government, not counting the 8 years on State Central Committee that I've interacted with you. And you've always been a gentleman, and you've always had a calming spirit about yourself. First of all, I want to thank your wife because she makes sure you have that calming spirit. Thank you so much. But Roman Clark, they said everybody thought he was the chief. Well, in my mind, he was the chief. He served under, was 8 mayors or 7 mayors?
7 mayors.
7 mayors. I mean, that's a testament to itself. 7 mayors. And whenever I had a problem, I could always get him on the phone. I don't care what time or what the issue was, and he will always make sure it was taken care of. So I know you're going to enjoy your retirement, and I do apologize for the time that you was on your vacation, that I called you while you was on one of the 8 rounds of golf. And he took my call and said, I'm at the golf course. I said, don't worry about it. I'll call somebody else. But he said, no, I'll take it. Thank you for all of your service and all your time that you have given to the citizens of Baltimore. And thank you for just being a friend. You know, you can't say everybody's a friend, but you have been a friend. It wasn't about me being an elected official, whether it was council person, president, city council, or mayor. You was always a friend. And I just want to thank you for your dedication. And I was wishing, I said, look, we don't have a fire chief right now, and Roman is the chief. Let's make him the chief, and he can retire as fire chief, the real title of fire chief. I know that would have been awesome for you. But in my mind, you have always been the chief. I don't look at the assistant executive chief. You've been Chief Roman, and thank you for being one of the greatest chiefs that the city of Baltimore has ever seen. And thank you for this opportunity.
At this time, the man of the hour, Chief Roman L. Clark, Sr. Oh, this is your mic right now.
Well, first of all and foremost, let me just say thank you to the entire City Council for this honor. It truly is a great honor, and I do accept it, 100%. But I also would like to say thank you to the citizens of Baltimore. I love Baltimore, and I plan to continue to live here in Baltimore City, and if there's anything that I can do to help to make the city better, I'm going to continue to do that. But for the citizens of Baltimore, I wanted to thank them for allowing me to serve them. Most of the time they say thank you for your service, but the thank you is to them for allowing them to let me serve them. And I truly did appreciate it, and I've appreciated all the years of service that I have spent in the Baltimore City Fire Department. And once again, it has been an honor and a pleasure working with each and every one of you. And thank you again.
Thank you. Now, on behalf of the City Council of Baltimore, be hereby known to all that the City Council of Baltimore offers its sincerest congratulations to Chief Roman L. Clark, Sr., in recognition of your well-deserved retirement after 46 years of dedicated service to the City of Baltimore. The entire membership extends its best wishes on this memorable occasion and directs this resolution to be presented on this 15th day of May 2023, signed by myself, President Nick J. Mosby, resolution number 1429, and all the members of the Baltimore City Council.
I'm glad I lost weight.
You look good, Jack.
Thank you.
No, thank you so much. Thank you. And we all hope that we look like you after 46 years of public service in Baltimore City. Everyone's laughing because it's true. At this time, if you remember, we invoked Council Rule 12-1 for same-day advancement. At this time, we're going to read that on third reading. Madam Clerk, if you could please read that bill in.
City Council 23-0368, real property tax credit for energy conservation devices. President Mosby, McCray, Dorsey, Conway, Schleifer, Middleton, Torrance, Burnett, Bullock, Porter, Costello, Stokes, Glover, Ramos.
This bill is approved. We will now turn to the rest of the bills on third reading. Madam Clerk, please read the first bill.
City Council Bill 23-0352, city property, renaming playground at Pavilion at Alhambra Park after Phyllis Gilmore. President Mosby, McCray, Dorsey, Conway, Schleifer, Middleton, Torrance, Burnett, Bullock, Porter, Costello, Stokes, Glover, Ramos.
This bill is approved. Madam Clerk, the last bill on third reading.
City Council Bill 23-0353, Community Reinvestment and Reparations Commission. President Mosby, McCray, Dorsey, Conway, Schleifer, Middleton, Torrance, Burnett, Bullock, Porter, Costello, Stokes, Glover, Ramos.
This bill is approved, and like I did on second reader, would like to call out leaders of a beautiful struggle for all of the hard work you did in Annapolis to put us in position to pass it tonight. So thank you so much on that. It's formally a pass at this point. Now you have to go around the rest of the state and continue to do your amazing work. At this time, we're going to turn to committee announcements. First up, we're going to go to ECD.
The Economic and
I'm
Community...
sorry, Chair would like to recognize the Vice President. That's
Thank you, Mr. President. The Economic and Community Development Committee would like to announce the following hearings. On June 13th, 2023, at 1:58 p.m., Bill number 22-0287, Real Estate Practices, Disclosures, Historic Districts. At 1:59 p.m., 23-0346, a RPP Area 48 Riverside Revisions. On June 20th, 2023, at 2 p.m., Bill number 23-0370, Zoning, Use Regulations, Residential Care Facilities, Age Restricted. At 2:05 p.m., 23-0371, Zoning, Conditional Use, Residential Care Facility, Age Restricted, 201 Homeland Avenue, and a portion of Block 5027, Lot 003. At 2:10, also on June 20th, 2023, at 2:10 p.m., Bill number 22-0323, Zoning, Conditional Use, Parking Lot 3618 and 3620 Elm Avenue. And on June 27th, 2023, at 2 p.m., Bill number 22-0254, Office of Aging, independent agency. And also on June 27th, 2023, at 2:05 p.m., Bill number 23-0365, rezoning 605 through 621 East Biddle Street, 1101 through 1129 Forest Street, and 602 East Chase Street, and 1110 Nursery Place. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam VP. Next up, we're going to Education, Workforce, and Youth. Mr. Chair, no bills. Next up, Health, Environment, Technology. Madam Chair, nothing. Next up, SGO. Chair of the committee, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Public Safety and Government Operations Committee will be meeting to hear LO 23-0037 on Wednesday, May 24, 2023 at 5 p.m. For Legislative Oversight Youth Curfew. And that's all we have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Next up, Rules and Legislative Oversight. Nothing from Rules. And the last, certainly not least, Ways and Means. Mr. Chair, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. President. The committee will hold hearings on Thursday, May 25th at 4 p.m. This is sale of property for 5545 Kennison Avenue. We're rescheduling that from 5 p.m. back to 4 p.m. On Wednesday, May 31st at 2 p.m., City Council Bill 23-0345, salary city solicitor. Mr. President, I move to suspend rules 10.2 and 10.3 to announce a hearing.
Without objection, Rules 10.2 and 10.3 will be suspended. Hearing and seeing none, Rules 10.2 and 10.3 are suspended. Mr. Chair, you could please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. President. City Council will hold a hearing on Council Bill 23-0381, Ordinance of Estimates for the fiscal year ending June 30, 2024, on Thursday, May 25th at 2 p.m. This will be the brief overview with BBMR. Mr. President, move to suspend Rules 10.2 and 10.3 to announce a hearing.
Without objection, Rules 10.2 and 10.3 will be suspended. Hearing and seeing none, Rules 10.2 and 10.3 are suspended. Mr. Chair, please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. President. The committee will hold a hearing on Thursday, May 25th at 6 p.m. For Council Bill 23-0382, annual property tax for fiscal year 2024. I'd like to mention that Baltimore City's constant yield tax rate was in fact advertised in the Baltimore Sun newspaper on Saturday, May 13th, 2023. This is Baltimore City Council Taxpayers Night. This will be an opportunity for citizens to provide feedback to the City Council on the proposed budget. Mr. President, I move to suspend Rules 10.2 and 10.3 to announce a hearing.
Without objection, Rules 10.2 and 10.3 will be suspended. Hearing and seeing none, Rules 10.2 and 10.3 are suspended. Mr. Chair, please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. President. Committee will hold a hearing on May 25th, 2023, for Mayor and City Council Resolution 23-0383. This is the operating budget for the Baltimore City Board of School Commissioners for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2024. That will be on Thursday, May 25th at 2:01 p.m. or immediately after the BBMR hearing. That will be the high-level budget overview. In addition, suspend the rules. I move to suspend the rules 10.2 and 10.3 to announce a hearing.
Without objection, Rules 10.2 and 10.3 will be suspended. Hearing and seeing none, Rules 10.2 and 10.3 are suspended. Mr. Chair, please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. President. Committee will hold a hearing on Thursday, June 1st, 6:30 p.m. Again on Mayor and City Council Resolution 23-0383, operating budget for the Baltimore City Board of School Commissioners for the fiscal year ending June 30, 2024. This will be the in-depth hearing with Baltimore City Public Schools. Mr. President, I move to suspend Rules 10.2 and 10.3 to announce a hearing.
Without objection, Rules 10.2 and 10.3 will be suspended. Hearing and seeing none, Rules 10.2 and 10.3 are suspended. Mr. Chair, please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. President. Committee will hold a hearing on Tuesday, May 30th, starting at 9 a.m. Ordinance of Estimates for the fiscal year ending June 30, 2024. Bill 23-0381. Day one will include capital budget, Visit Baltimore, American Rescue Plan Act spending, City Administrator's Office, Charm TV, Fire Department, and the Office of Emergency Management. Mr. President, I move to suspend Rules 10.2 and 10.3 to announce a hearing.
Without objection, Rules 10.2 and 10.3 will be suspended. Hearing and seeing none, Rules 10.2 and 10.3 are suspended. Mr. Chair, please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. President. Committee will hold hearings starting at 9 a.m. on Wednesday, May 31st on Council Bill 23-0381, Ordinance of Estimates for the fiscal year ending June 30, 2024. This is Day 2, which will include Baltimore Development Corporation, Finance Department, Bureau of Budget and Management Research, Law Department, Mayor's Office of Minority and Women-Owned Small Business Development, Baltimore City Information Technology, Broadband Digital Equity and Chief Data Officer, and the Department of Public Works. Mr. President, I move to suspend Rules 10.2 and 10.3 to announce a hearing.
Without objection, Rules 10.2 and 10.3 will be suspended. Hearing and seeing none, Rules 10.2 and 10.3 are suspended. Mr. Chair, please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. President. Committee will hold budget hearings starting at 9 a.m. on Thursday, June 1st, Council Bill 23-0381, Ordinance of Estimates for the fiscal year ending June 30, 2024. Day 3 will include Board of Liquor License Commissioners, Baltimore Convention Center, Parking Authority of Baltimore City, Office of the Inspector General, Department of Human Resources, Office of the Labor Commissioner, Department of Transportation, and Enoch Pratt Free Library. Mr. President, I move to suspend Rules 10.2 and 10.3 to announce a hearing.
Without objection, Rules 10.2 and 10.3 will be suspended. Hearing and seeing none, Rules 10.2 and 10.3 are suspended. Mr. Chair, please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. President. Committee will hold Day 4 of budget hearings on Friday, June 2nd. This is Council Bill 23-0381, Ordinance Estimates for the fiscal year ending June 30, 2024. Day 4 will include Baltimore City Department of Recreation and Parks, the Comptroller's Office, the Environmental Control Board, the Office of Equity and Civil Rights, Mayor's Office of Immigrant Affairs, Mayor's Office of Performance and Innovation, Mayor's Office of Promotion and the Baltimore Office of Promotion and the Arts. Freudian slip. Mr. President, I move to suspend Rules 10.2 and 10.3 to announce a hearing.
Without objection, Rules 10.2 and 10.3 will be suspended. Hearing and seeing none, Rules 10.2 and 10.3 are suspended. Mr. Chair, please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. President. Committee will hold hearings starting at 9 a.m. on Monday, June 5th. Council Bill 23-0381, Ordinance of Estimates for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2024. Day 5 will include Mayor's Office of Children and Family Success, Mayor's Office of Homeless Services, Board of Municipal and Zoning Appeals, Department of Housing and Community Development, Live Baltimore, Sheriff's Office, State's Attorney's Office, Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Safety Engagement, Family League of Baltimore, and Mayor's Office of African American Male Engagement. Mr. President, I move to suspend Rules 10.2 and 10.3 to announce a hearing.
Without objection, Rules 10.2 and 10.3 will be suspended. Hearing and seeing none, Rules 10.2 and 10.3 are suspended. Mr. Chair, please proceed.
I was hoping for an objection at some point. Thank you, Mr. President.
Stop the monotone.
The committee will hold hearings starting at 9 a.m. on Tuesday, June 6th. Council Bill 23-0381, Ordinance of Estimates for the fiscal year ending June 30, 2024. Day 6 hearings will include Health Department, Planning Department, Commission on Historical and Architectural Preservation, Mayor's Office of Employment Development, Department of General Services, Baltimore City Police Department, and that is all for budget hearings. Mr. President, I want to take a moment to publicly thank you and your staff for all your support as we put together this robust and long schedule. Colleagues, I sent out a revised schedule that should be the last revision. You should have received that about an hour ago. If anyone did not, please let me know. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you so much. And for the public's edification, those bills were the series of bills that will series of hearings that will ultimately allow us to go down the process of passing, again, a balanced budget. I would like to give my hat off to BBMR and finance in general. We had our first revenue verification hearing that I've known to take place prior to a budget, and I think the administration came with extremely sound information. They were really well prepared for the questions that we provided them in advance, and I think that they took it really, really serious. So again, in the past, we've never done revenue verification before the budget. This is a common practice and a best practice that we've picked up from other cities, and I'd like to thank Nathan Poole for all your hard work in setting it up. With that, we're going to go into regular announcements. Before we do, I would like to call for a special announcement, and that's going to be from Council Member James Torrance of the 7th District.
Thank you, Mr. President. Tonight, I wanted to celebrate a person on my staff for reaching a great milestone. Kirsten Davis is graduating from the National Treasure, Morgan State University.
And I'm sorry to cut you off, but can we extend floor privileges?
Mr. President, may I extend floor privileges?
100%. Come on up.
So my office stole Ms. Davis from finance. She never worked in government before, but had 10 years of management experience. So when I first started this job, I wanted to make sure that someone can do more management than I could, especially if there's days when there are fires every day. And I've been blessed with almost 3 years of great service from Ms. Davis, to the point where we've grown our office from an office of 3 to 8 staff persons at one time, so that we can handle all the things that we're doing for our constituents, down to the minutia of planning events as well as special initiatives. But I just want to thank you, because not only is she doing it as a full-time staff person, full-time mom, full-time wife, and getting a bachelor's degree. So imagine doing all of that during the pandemic and still being present and commanding a large staff. So I just want to celebrate you today. The resolution reads, the City Council of Baltimore, be here known to all that the City Council of Baltimore offers sincerest congratulations to Kirsten A. Davis in recognition of your graduation. Be proud of this moment. You deserve this accomplishment for all the effort and dedication you invested. The entire membership extends its best wishes on this memorable occasion and directs this resolution to be presented on this 20th day of May 2023.
go into regular announcements. Are there any regular announcements? Chairman Stokes, the floor is yours.
Just want to say happy birthday to Apostle Miss Christine Hostclaw, who turned 98 years old on
Wow.
April the 24th. And I wanted to mention when I came on the council in 2016, Chick Webb was one of the best drummers in the world. But when I came on the council, they was going to tear that facility down and build a Y. I made it historic, and I want to say May the 24th at 4 o'clock, we breaking ground to build a brand new Chick Webb Rec Center.
Chairman Conway.
Thank you, Mr. President. I wanted to take an opportunity to acknowledge Tony Leva, who's going to be joining as the new staffer for the Public Safety Committee. As you guys are aware, for some time, Matthew Peters has been staffing us. Before him, Sam Johnson was snatched up by the mayor's office, and now we're lucky to have Tony on board. So really looking forward to working with you, Tony. I think we all are.
And with that, we know Matt Peters is going to be the new Assistant Director of Legislative Services. So thank you for your continued service. Are there any additional, Councilwoman Ramos? Then we go to Glover.
Thank you, Mr. President. First wanted to thank the first responders and all the neighbors who have been helping to support our neighbors in Hamden. There was a major fire affecting 10 households. 6 households are completely lost everything, but we've got a good, strong community, and they're getting the support that they need. So hope the city can support them as well. And then also I wanted to invite colleagues in the city of Baltimore to an event on Thursday night, May 18th, over at the Waverly Y. We are hosting 3 leaders of other land banks across the U.S., one from Detroit, one from Ohio, and one from Syracuse, to talk about their successes as running land banks and looking for ways to move ours forward. And so I think it's going to be a great event, and I want to invite everybody to that public meeting, 5:30 at the Y. Thank you.
Thank you. And Madam Vice President, if you could please write down, I believe it was 100 or 101, but the community is mourning the passing of Apostle Leroy H. Kennedy. That's Apostle Leroy H. Kennedy. I believe he was 100 or 101. But a tremendous amount of service to the citizens of Baltimore. Councilman Glover?
I just want to have a moment of silence for one of our young service members, Makai Sean Cummins, 20 years old, just joined the armed services, was on his way back to North Carolina, just bought a car maybe 3 months prior, and he was killed in Virginia by a motorist that hit and ran. He was changing his tire. And I just want to say that let's have a moment of silence for him and his family. He was a great kid. I know the family well. And there was one text message that he sent to his younger sibling, and it was when he had that flat tire, he texted him and said, "Bro, this is life. Just got a vehicle, now I'm changing my first tire." And he wasn't able to respond to his siblings' reply back, because during that time is when he was struck by the vehicle and he lost his life. So again, let's keep his family in prayers. His funeral services is tomorrow, but I ask that we have a moment of silence for that young man. And
Please say his name again.
Makai Sean Cummins.
Thank you. Makai Sean Cummings.
Yes.
And you got Apostle Leroy Kennedy. And a regular announcement? Yep. We're going to go to Councilman Bullock.
Thank you, Mr. President and colleagues. I did want to put something on your radar. Most of you know that I do run a fair amount, and we do have a 5K that's coming up in the city, and it's in honor of the Seed School. Some of you are familiar with the Seed School as a premier learning opportunity for our young men and women. It's a boarding school, but again, it draws young people from Baltimore, gives them great opportunities. There is a run up to Juneteenth 5K, which is scheduled for June 11th. I know it goes not only through the 9th district, but also through the 11th district with Councilman Costello and the 12th and the 10th district with Councilman Reporter. And so they've both been great champions for this event. So I encourage folks to sign up for that event. It's a great cause and a great way to get active and fit. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Any additional announcements? Hearing and seeing none, the body would like to recognize Madam Vice President. The floor is yours.
The next meeting of the Baltimore City Council will be held on Monday, June 12th, 2023, at 5 p.m. At this time, we will have a moment of silence for the now 97 victims of homicide this year, the more than 1,944 Baltimoreans who have died from COVID-19 since the beginning of the pandemic, and the passing of Apostle Leroy H. Candidacy and Mathal Shans Cummings.
Thank you. There being no new business before the desk, this will conclude the 57th meeting of the 73rd term of your Baltimore City Council. Baltimore, we love you.